So hello friends, welcome to our first descriptive video. So before starting today's lesson, I will be telling you the reason why we created this YouTube channel. We mainly created this YouTube channel for making concepts clear to students, as clear as crystal. Because 99% of the students learn the concepts instead of nurturing them, which will be a very bad and chaotic situation in their future. So we will mainly upload videos twice a week, that is Friday and Tuesday. So listen to my words carefully to understand it simply. If you look at the PPTX, then it will be looking very complicated. So let us start. By seeing the first slide, you can understand only that we will be learning about sets today. So what is sets actually? If I need to express it simply, then I will be telling a set is a collection of well defined and distinct objects. What is the meaning of this sentence? This sentence clearly defines that a set will contain only one kind of number, alphabet, or anything. So there can't be any repetition because it is well defined and distinct. One more general knowledge question that comes here is the objects of the set are called the members or elements. So you have to remember it that the objects are called members or elements. So now we move on to the representation of sets. As you can see, the first process shown on your screen is a descriptive process. It's nothing to explain. You can understand by seeing only that you have to write in a descriptive form. That's it. Now we move on to the rule method or set builder form. It's a bit complicated, but I will explain you in a simple way. You just need to identify a very common and interesting property that all the members of the set satisfy. Means all the elements or members should satisfy that property. So I am giving you an example. A equals to x such that x is a natural number where x is less than 10. So I defined x here as it is a natural number and it is less than 10. So I defined two properties here, and we can clearly understand now that the set will be of 1 to 9 elements. So I guess you all will be clear with the rule method of set builder form. So now let's move on to the roster method or tabular form. It is clear as crystal. It's a very easy process. As you can see in the descriptive form, the set is written simply. Here you only need to put that simplification into the elements and write it in curly brackets. So if I tell the set of all the vowels of the English alphabet, then you simply need to add a curly bracket at first, then A, E, I, O, U, then end the curly bracket. As simple as that. So now let's move on to the types or classification of sets. So before explaining the types of sets, I will be telling a very important property that comes here. That is the cardinal number of a set. The cardinal number is the number of elements that a set has. So, if you tell the number of vowels in the English alphabet, so the set will have the set's cardinal number will be 5 as it contains only 5 elements. So, this is our cardinal number. With this cardinal number, we can explain the types of sets very easily. So you have to nurture the concept of cardinal number in a easy way. So the first set that we will discuss is the finite set. If the number of elements is finite, then the cardinal number is also finite and the set is also finite. So you can understand only by my statement that if the number of elements is finite, then its cardinal number will be finite and the set will also be finite. Let us take the example of all the days of a week. So you know there are 7 days in a week. So it's a finite set. So what is an infinite set? Just opposite to it. Simple. A set that does not have a fixed number of elements is called an infinite set, which is just opposite to the finite set. So its cardinal number will also be infinite, as you don't know how many elements exist in the set actually. So an example infinite set is the set of all integers. So you can't really determine where the set is going to end. So you can't determine its cardinal number also. Next, that the set we are going to discuss is the most important and interesting set. That is our empty set. The set which contains no elements is called the empty set. As the name suggests, empty, which is null. The empty set is also null, but its cardinal number is 0, as it contains no elements. I am repeating, the empty set is null, but the cardinal number will always be 0, as the set is null. So now we will be talking about some types of finite set. As we have already completed the three main types of set, now we will be reading about the subtypes of finite set. So there are usually two subtypes of a finite set, that is the singleton set and the pair set. A singleton set is a set which contains only one element. You can clearly understand what I am saying. And the pair set is the set which contains two elements, as the name suggests. Now we will be moving on to the universal set. The universal set is a set which considers all the possible objects. Means, if there are two sets, let us assume set A contains the students of our class who play football, and set B contains the students of our class who plays cricket. Then, after combining both the sets, the new set that we got is our universal set. And you can see only in your screen the sign used to denote the universal set, that is U, and a complicated sign. Please don't use that, otherwise you might forget in exam. So it's better not to remember the sign and write it as U. The next set that comes is the equivalent set. Equivalent sets always occurs between finite set, a point to be remembered. Two finite sets are called equivalent sets if they contain the same number of elements. In other words, the sets A and B are equivalent sets if cardinal number A, cardinal number of set A and cardinal number of set B are equal. I guess all are clear with me. If the cardinal number of two sets are the same, then the sets are called equivalent sets. The next thing that comes is the equal set. As the name suggests, all the members will be equal, means the members of both the sets will be equal. So if I assume set A contains 1, 2, 3, set B will also contain 1, 2, 3. It might contain more, but that is a complicated thing that we will be discussing in the next video. So don't focus on that part. For now you take that both the sets will contain the same number of equal elements. Okay. So I guess you all are clear with the equal set. Now there is a similarity between the equal set and the equivalent set. As you all will guess, the equal set are always equivalent sets. But equivalent sets need not to be equal sets, as a cardinal number will always be same. I guess all are clear with me. So the next thing that comes is the subset. Subset is very easy. Let us consider two sets. Set A contains 1, 2, 3 and set B contains 1, 2, 3. So A will be called a subset of B, also B will be called a subset of A, because they contain the same number of elements, so it will be called subset. Now if any set contains less, if I tell A contains 1 and 2 and B contains 1, 2, 3, then set A will be the proper subset of a set B. So I guess you all understood what is the proper subset. As the name suggests, it is totally proper. It is totally proper a subset. So as I told you the example, A contains 1, 2 and B contains 1, 2 and 3. So A is a subset of B. Then B is the super subset of A as it contains an element more than A. So I guess all are clear with the concept of subset, proper subset and a super subset. The sign used to represent the subsets is on your screen, you all can see from there. So that's all. Stay tuned and committed for the next part of the video. So stay tuned and committed. Thanks for watching.